What's up, my community? We are in primary election season and it is early voting time. And this is a vital and critical time because this is your opportunity to vote in a state election, those candidates that you want to represent you in the general election. And I took an opportunity to sit down with a candidate that is very near and dear to my heart, who is running for re-election for the school board in Lexington City Schools. And we talked about the importance of voting. So I want you to check this conversation out and let's get into it. All right, you guys, I am here with my mom.
Hello.
And Mama, we are in primary election season.
Yes, and early.
Early voting season, early primaries. And we are hanging out. My mom has been hard at work with her campaign, hitting the ground.
Grinding.
Grinding. But on this day, we are taking a moment. You are taking some much needed time to just hang out at your childhood home where you grew up, right here. Your mom, your dad, and 5 other brothers and sisters. There was 6 of y'all. We even have the little one here. So if you hear a little voice, we just chilling. We out here. It's just having a nice evening and really just enjoying this time. And as we sit here and we are, spending time here at the childhood home that you grew up in, all around this area there are signs up, that are asking, for the constituents and the residents of Ward 5 to re-elect Angela McDuffie. And I just wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you and talk about, number one, with us being here where it all started, the importance of what it meant to have your parents' support when they were here, and how you're still carrying on the torch that they put in you, that they instilled in you, and what it has meant for you to take time to educate and reach out and go door to door to the residents, and help them understand the importance of voting and this early election season. So just starting there, I wanted you to talk a little bit about when you were growing up and you remember being taken around with Grandma Stell and Papa Bo, voting, taking people to vote. And how did that start the desire in you to be where you are now?
Yeah, so growing up, my parents, I can name the names in our neighborhood. My mom and dad, Bo and Stell Strong.
Yep.
My Uncle Robert Henderson, Julia Bryson, we all call Bebe. It's just so many names that I can think of. Miss Connie. All of these grew up in Eastside Lexington in Ward 5. And during election time, it was a big, important season in time growing up. And those names that I just mentioned, some of them, because it's a whole lot more, but they would hit the road grinding, picking up people to take them to the polls to vote. My mom would be sitting at the voting poll place to check off names as the Ward 5 residents came to vote. My dad riding up and down the roads from one neighborhood to the next neighborhood in Eastside Lexington and in Ward 5, picking up people, taking them to vote. Miss Julia Bryson, Bebe, my Uncle Robert, he was Ward 1, but we all worked together. And, me and some of my siblings, we would be in the car with them as they was riding and going picking up people. So when we became adults, old enough to take people to the polls, we started working with them. And so this was it was a great time, an important time to know the candidates and, you know, to know those who were running during the elections. But most important of all, it was all about the importance of exercising their right to vote. They really pushed and they were adamant for people to get out and vote. Some people would say, well, they're going to vote who they going to pick who they want to anyway, so why should we vote? Yes, they was adamant to say you should vote just because you have the right to. We had our ancestors who gave their life. They died so that we could be able to have that right to vote. And so even though now I didn't know that years later that I would end up being a candidate running for an office, I had no idea. I didn't know that was in the plan for me. I was just doing my community service, work with my parents, not knowing that this was getting inside of me. And so, but the main important thing is to rally our neighbors up to exercise their right to vote. That is the main key behind this. And also educating our neighbors of the candidates, you know, that they are, that they have a choice to select. Because these people are going to be the ones that's representing and making the decisions. And so, so that's how it started out when I was growing up, and I loved it. And it's like, that's a part of me now. And I will always, even when I'm not a candidate anymore, going down the years, when I no longer have a desire to run anymore, I will still be picking up people and taking them to the polls to vote, because this is in me and this is very important.
And so as you were talking, what I heard was the seed was planted. You know, the seed was planted, and now, you know, you are manifesting with all of those individuals, all those names that you named, all of those individuals, the seed that they planted in you, you are manifesting what that hard work, all of that work, all of that grinding, you're manifesting what they were, the reason they were planting those seeds. And I think that's awesome, because, you know, as you were saying about, well, you know, people saying, well, I mean, they're going to choose who they're going to choose anyway. What's the point? I mean, I myself, you know, felt that kind of attitude at one point. A birdie, yes, Baba. I myself, you know, had that attitude at one point, because it just seemed like it was just feeling so like disheartening, you know, at some point. But just like what you were saying, when I realized the lives that were sacrificed just to have this right, whether it makes a difference or not, which of course it does, but whether it does or not, the fact that there were individuals who literally sacrificed their lives just so I can have the right to do it, it's like, that's worth me taking the time to put in, you know, voting. And during, you know, even prior to us getting to this primary election season and early voting season, you were out. You were talking to, you know, the residents that, you know, are represented in Ward 5. And can you talk a little bit about how you prepared for that? What steps did you take to go out and help educate those individuals in Ward 5, going to the doors and all the different things? what did you do to help Ward 5 know who you were and how important it was for them, you know, what you were willing to do to help them so that they could have the ability to go out and vote?
Yes. So, well, first of all, the majority of Ward 5 residents, they knew me, they knew my family. It wasn't like I just came up on the scene, you know, just then when I, you know, went out to them. So, and they knew that I have been their representative for these past 8 years. And so, but we also have a lot of new neighbors that have come into our area. So I knew that I would, you know, have to go out and introduce myself to them. And so how I went about that, the friends and the ones that I have known for so long who are neighbors to the new people that have come into our community, I had them to go out with me and to for them to introduce me. So they were my point of contact to reach the new neighbors. And so as I, you know, went to them, and then they introduced me, and you know, my neighbors that I have known for years, who I was so close to, they let them know the person that I am, the my character, and that I am a person of integrity that cares. I'm just not running for office. I never have ran for office for titles. It's not about titles. It's about the cause, and the cause is having a better future, our children having a better future once they leave high school.
Yes.
And so, and to get a better education while they are in school. So this was one of the ways that I was able to reach our new neighbors who came into our neighborhoods. And then, of course, when those individuals would see me at the grocery store, that would just see me around, you know, I always made myself accessible. I've always been, I am an extrovert, so I always, you know, let others know that whatever concerns that they may have, I listen to those concerns. And then I, you know, let them know that I would reach out to the proper individual for that, and someone would get back with them. So I know that one of the important things is when you are a community leader, and when you are just a leader, period, the most important thing is to care. You have to care about people. I know my pastor, he always say this, and this is so true. People don't know, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And so this is not something that I just do during an election season. This is who I am 365 days of the year. And so yes, so
yeah. And that's and you know, as you were talking, I heard, you know, building relationships, because like you said, it wasn't just something that you started doing whenever you started running for positions and offices.
Right.
You were a part of being out in the trenches, helping people get to the polls, taking people to vote. You were doing this way before you even way before you were any elections or running for any offices, and I'm
as
sure
I stated, I'll still be doing it, you know, 10 years from now. I'll still be getting people to the polls because it's important to vote.
And like you were saying, and I'm sure that for you, whether the person that you're taking to vote, whether they're choosing to vote for you or whomever, You just want to make sure that they practice the right to vote.
Practice the right.
Now, obviously, we want to make sure that the right person does get in office because, like my mom mentioned, whoever you vote for is the person that's going to be representing you, going to be representing your children in terms of school board anyway. And all of primary elections is important.
Yes.
But speaking specifically for school board, because that's what you are running for re-election,
Right.
This person is going to be representing you as a parent, your child, the teachers, you know, the principals, everyone who has any involvement with school. That individual is going to be representing you. So you want the right person in office.
As well as, you know, being a representative for the entire Ward 5 in our community. You know, people of integrity. Those who are leaders. And leaders know how to, you know, carry themselves and represent our children, because we have to be examples for our children, and that is so important. And I echo that. I can't say it enough, that it's important to have representatives in our community who, you know, who are there to be great examples for our children. That is so important.
You guys, so we had to bring this party on the inside because it started to get kind of dark outside. So but you know, just to wrap it up, you know, I know you've had to do a lot of forums and have formal conversations, answer formal questions, and I was like, you know, I just want to sit down, have a conversation with my mom, and just let everybody just hear Angie's heart, you know, just a informal conversation for people to just hear your heart. And so one of the things that you have talked about was building relationships and, you know, making sure that people exercise their right to vote and just serving out of your heart, and to make sure that the people on the receiving end of what your service is for, the students, the parents, the teachers, all of those, that they actually have someone fighting for them and making sure that they receive everything and have the best education and things of that nature that comes along with what your role is, that those receivers, that they actually get to benefit from that. So as we wrap everything up, like, just from your heart, what would you like for the Ward 5 residents just to hear from Angie?
Yes. I had stated earlier in one part of this interview that just as my pastor said, people don't just want to know how much you know until they know how much you care. And that's one of the things that is just who I am. I love helping people and I care. And the role, the position as a school board leader is not something that I just care for just because I'm a school board leader. That's just who I am. And in my community, I have always, you know, showed that I care in some type of capacity. And I know it is so important for our community to have representatives who are, you know, examples. You want matured, strong leaders to be in a role to help to lead our children as well as to be an example for our children. And so that is so important, to have leaders of character, leaders of integrity, and leaders who Ward 5 would be proud to that individual with character and an example, the right example for our children. And so that is one of the things that I would want to, you know, leave with our community, our ward, that I just love helping people. I care. And even when I'm not even serving in a elected position capacity, I'll still be doing the same thing because that's who I am. And I believe that when you do who you are, you don't have to pump and prime to get people to try to believe who you are. You're just being who you are. And how I am on an everyday basis, caring for my family, caring for my community, caring for my church, the leader I am there, the faithful, loyal leader that I am there, as well as for my family. That's just who I am. That's one of the things that I would want Ward 5 and just all my community know, is that that's just who I am. I care, and I care about you. I care about our children, and I care about their future, their education, and the opportunities that I was afforded, that my children, my family was afforded. I care to help our children get there. And so even, just know, even outside of being an elected leader, what you see is who I am, and I'm that 365 days of the week. I don't want you just to know how much I know, but I want you to experience how much I care.
Well, I think that's awesome, and I just want to end out with this one note here. I know that Grandma Stella and Papa Bo, they would be so proud of you and what you're doing. And how would they be supporting you right now?
I can tell you right now, on early voting day, my daddy, he would have been out there picking up people in his car. He would have been sitting at the Board of Elections, giving out my election material up and down these neighborhoods in East Lexington and Ward 5. My daddy, he would have been there. As a matter of fact, before he passed, I said to him, Daddy, you can't go right now because you said you was going to help me during election time. But he decided he wanted to go on and be with Mama. So, yes, I know that my parents are very proud. As my daughter stated earlier, they planted this seed in me. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful for them. They were examples. They were the right examples. You know, they were loyal to what they did. And their intent was to help our people, you know, help all people. And so I love my parents. I am so grateful. I am so grateful to be called their daughter. And I'm so grateful that I am Bo Knox and Stell Knox's daughter. And just as my shirt says, it's Bo and Stell Strong. So I just thank God for my mama and my daddy. And we're actually right here in the living room again. I wanted to do everything from right here, from where I was born and raised and where it all started, with elections, with community service, with it all. It started right here at their residence.
Well, I, for one, will say Ward 5, go out and vote. Re-elect Angela Knox McDuffie as your school board member and representative. And listen, everybody out there, regardless, again, just vote.
Yes.
Go vote.
Yes.
Exercise the right that has been provided to you, because listen, it's an important one. And I hope that all of you have been inspired hearing, what my mom has shared. And I'm so glad that you've had this conversation with me. And listen, you guys, I want to encourage you that if you have not done so already today, I want you to stop. Go find a reason to laugh and keep smiling.
I did want to say one other thing. This young lady right here, sometimes I'm speechless with words that my daughter, the talented young lady she is such a talented young lady. She's a mother, she's a wife, she's a daughter, she's an auntie, she's so much. But God has gifted her and she is so talented. And any parent in this world would be grateful to have a daughter like I have. I am just so blessed. There's not enough words to say how I thank God for this young lady, for this young woman. She is, I'm speechless sometimes. I can't find words. So, daughter, I thank you. I thank you for your support and how you love your mama.
Well, I do love my mama. Thank you, Mama. I appreciate it. I just love doing whatever God has given me the ability to do, and I'm going to just do it until whenever.
You do it with excellence.
Thank you. Well, you guys, I thank you all for tuning in. Thank you for watching. And again, if you have not done so already today, I want you to stop, take a moment, find a reason to laugh, and keep smiling. Until next time, and always stay blessed.